give you after I finish chewing.
Okay.
Jeremy, you better go first.
Yeah, well, I'm not very good at carrying around cash. I'm gonna contribute, I'll go get some, but I'm gonna contribute 20 today. I've got a lot of things to be happy about, but, I'll say two things. The two things I'm happiest about today, one is I hired somebody.
Okay.
So I hired another person for our after-school program staff, which we've been understaffed for a long time. And finding people is tricky, but I found a certified teacher who's excited, and I'm excited. Hopefully it's going to make my life easier. And he did the program. And then the other thing that I'm happy about today is that we got this library journal, which is a national publication for libraries, in the mail today. And every year they put out, all the libraries in the United States report a certain amount of data to the state and federal government, and then 2 years later, the library journal spits out some analysis of that data, and they award stars, kind of like you did for a restaurant if you're, a Michelin-star restaurant. And in the state of Oregon, there are 9 starred libraries, and we got one.
Right.
So we're happy.
Okay. Any other? Yes, Mary.
Okay, so you guys had to suffer with me as I bragged about my grandsons during soccer. Well, basketball has started, and they won a game last night against an incredible team from Crescent City that didn't miss a shot. When they threw the ball up, it went through and scored. And our boys won the game 87-79.
Oh,
which is a crazy high score for a high school team. And I just got back from Hawaii, and I'm happy to be home. So
No lava burns?
no, but it rained for 3 days, as bad as it rains here, where you couldn't even get your windshield wipers to go when we were in Hawaii. Who's collecting? Anybody?
Okay. Thank you.
And I'm collecting just because, so.
You're happy just
I'm
because?
I tell you, what I'm happy about is I can still get out in line and not fall over dead. And, I'm 75 and I look around and comparatively speaking, I'm very lucky, so.
You mentioned that today is my birthday, so I'm $100.
Happy birthday!
Because my mother, and this is back in the old days, probably set a state record, but my mother had 8 cesarean sections. For 8 years.
The scar tissue.
Yeah, but she lived a long life, and
She was Catholic. There's Becky.
hi Becky.
Hi. Finally.
And we're back here.
Yeah.
And we haven't got to contribute yet. So we're just doing happy dollars.
I've got $100, just happy to, for your birthday, and I'm older than both of you guys. So.
All right. Okay, yeah, Becky.
Hey, are you gambling today, Becky?
No, but I'll be happy.
How happy will you be?
I'll be $1 worth of happy.
Oh, that's just a world happy.
Hey?
You can be happy.
Yeah, that's up.
We got a lot of happy stuff here, though.
I'll just give
I'll
it
take the
up.
money. Jared, when we're done, I have something I need to bring up.
Okay,
Just all happy.
okay. Any more happy? Okay, good. Thank you for the happy dollars.
You can't hear you.
Okay. We're gonna do some trivia questions, and there's some prizes. We've got couple truffles. Pretty good.
You must have bought a case of those.
A lot, couple truffles, and a flower.
Ooh.
Easier. Okay, we'll do it What do Winnie the Pooh, Alexander the Great, and Ivan the Terrible have in common?
They were unbearable.
What do Winnie the Pooh, Alexander the Great, and Ivan the Terrible have in common? Trying to do these.
Honey. They all had something to do with honey.
Good try, though. Okay, we'll do another one. They have the same middle name.
Oh, man.
Oh,
Oh, dang. Oh, that's too funny. Jerry.
Okay,
gross.
we'll try a different one. Yeah, the topic is children's books, okay?
What night
And if you win, you can have your choice of the three. Okay, so children's books. In this book, a small train hauling toys chugs up a hill.
Thomas the Train.
What's the name of it?
Thomas the Train.
The little engine.
A little engine next
It's a
to it.
little engine.
Yeah. There you go, there you go.
There.
Still Thomas the
I mean,
Train.
back to you.
I'll have, did you say there's chocolate?
Yeah, there's
I'll have that.
okay, chocolate coming up.
Yes. I can probably catch.
Okay. That was a good one. Okay. Okay, the topic is police lingo. Okay, so
Police what?
lingo. Like, so every organization has their abbreviations and stuff. So I'm gonna give you an abbreviation that the police like to use. And you tell me what it stands for. So it's, here we go. When trying to locate a suspect, cops will often check this LKA. What is that? LKA.
Last known.
Last known as.
Last known
address.
address.
Yes, you got it. Good job. Okay, so what would you like? Candy?
I'm gonna do chocolate.
Chocolate? Okay. One more.
You're gonna take that to your wife, right?
I am, but I'm gonna smell it first. Oh,
Okay,
yes.
here's something said here. And so it's decades is the topic. These are all Jeopardy questions. Hong Kong was returned to China in this decade.
Yes,
Not
yes, it's true, this decade, yes.
No, it's.
What, what's up?
2010s.
What?
2010s.
No.
90?
90s, you got it.
Wow, okay. You guys can fight over the plan. Let's split it down the
You
middle.
can take it. I have one. That is very good.
That's why.
It was returned to them, but they didn't put their own people in place until recently.
Okay, we'll go over a couple other things and then I'll find which one here. Gosh, you guys didn't get the middle name. Okay. Mary, you had something.
Thank you. So, but yeah, we did a little bit, but that's better. Did you just turn down?
Yeah, I think that we turned down that too long.
Oh, this is much better than it was. It was pretty loud.
So
Our potential exchange student,
Okay.
we have to have 2 families signed up to host next year. Okay, that's 9 months from now. The Hawthorns will do it for 9 months if nobody else steps up. But we need somebody to fill out the paperwork, and it can't be me, because I volunteered without wanting to take an exchange student, but I'm the youth exchange officer, so I don't qualify. So we need somebody to fill out the form saying they will host, but they don't have to.
Okay.
That's how Jim Calvert told me, just get somebody to say they're gonna do it, and then the Hawthorns, if we don't find another family. If the kid comes here and is a wonderful kid, there might be families in the high school that want to take that student on.
Yeah.
But-
I'll talk to my first wife about that, because, you know, I think we could probably do.
Where is the paperwork involved for that? Is it online?
I don't know, I'd have to ask the Hawthorns.
Doesn't the host family have to be vetted before?
Yes, and I will vet whoever it is.
Oh,
You would even bet me?
I would even vet you, yes.
Okay.
he vetted me.
Okay,
So-
but let me ask you this, I pulled up, I got an email from Calvert on December 12th, which is about 2 days ago.
Yes.
And he said, he wanted our club to host an exchange student, only 17 clubs are hosting. He said the cost to a club is $2,000 to host, is that correct? Where does that come from?
That comes out of our general fund, and that pays for any student, cost, and then we give them a stipend every month.
Do we have the money to do that?
We will if we do high on health this year.
Okay, okay. So that, everybody's fine with that, I assume?
I think we should.
Okay.
So,
So the board voted on it?
To host, have we voted on it?
Have you voted on the expenditure?
No.
Or anything like that?
Well, what I was thinking of doing, I booked January except for the first month, and this month is booked for speakers. But maybe could we have a business meeting, the first meeting in January, and kind of go over these things that we do we have a problem with that?
I have no problem with that, but I don't know that we can wait that long to have a second family.
When do we need to come in?
He really needs to know.
Okay, well, I'll talk to Kathy, and see if, we've done it 3 times before. 2 from Germany, 1 from Russia. So, well, we wouldn't know anything about the person at this point.
No, we would not. And I don't think our board would have any issues. We've done it always before, so, or our club would have any issues.
Okay, that's helpful to know. I mean, I'm not saying the whole thing up, but there are things to talk about.
Mhm.
So we just need someone to sign up, is that what you're saying?
Yes, we need
But I don't
another.
have to take the person.
Exactly. We just need somebody in name only.
Okay. Because I don't mind signing up, but I just don't have the ability right now
Right.
to take anybody on.
Right.
Okay, okay. So, on the, what did you say? Or do you have?
I have to ask Jim for that. He
Okay,
did,
let's get
he's
one.
sending you and I the same emails.
Oh, okay,
So
okay.
we just need another in name only.
Okay, I think you do.
So we'll get the form, I'll just tell him we'll get another family for
Yeah,
sure.
tell him.
Yeah, we just don't know which one. We have everybody that wants to do it.
Okay. Jeremy, there's been some good things going on at the library. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the
We have
stuff?
a few pieces of news updates. There is so the artist John Harold Scott that has his black light paintings out here. We have an exhibit of his work on the 2nd floor, and it's actually really well lit with black light, so you can actually see the paintings as they're kind of continually seen. So that's worth a visit, and we have a number of Christmas movie and book displays up, and
gingerbread houses.
gingerbread houses are not on display, although we did have over 100 people in the library on Saturday bringing their gingerbread houses in, which we judged and pulled at the table.
Very nice.
And let's see, there was one more thing, Jerry. There is a blood drive coming up in a couple of weeks, which you can register at the Red Cross, and there is a musical performance this weekend by performers from the Brick Festival, Sunday at 3 o'clock, and it is first come, first served, no RSVP or anything, so that should be a pretty good show.
When
And
Jeremy is understated, the Brit Festival is world-class performers.
What time?
3 o'clock.
And it's ridiculous when you think about it, it's for free.
Yeah.
But the last time they came, it was packed, but they took reservations. This may be more in the COVID era, but they're not taking reservations. So what I would say is, if you're gonna go,
Come early.
And I should also say that we've got another one coming up in the spring for Brick Festival, and we've been very fortunate. We've developed a good relationship with them. These are being funded by a specific donor. They're not cheap, and he is, we believe, going to be in attendance, so we're probably going to do some special recognition for him as well.
so.
Yeah, a comment by the performance last year was that some of the best acoustics they've ever played. So the library, the sound is just incredible there when people play.
Yeah.
At 2 o'clock this afternoon at the library, the Curry Health Foundation is giving out their grants, And we have exceeded our goal of donating over $1 million to causes in Perry County that are health-related, fire departments, search and rescue.
Good. Very
So
cool.
that's at 2 o'clock, it's open to the public.
Okay. So I think we need to move on and, go ahead and have Monica report. We can talk about emergency services.
Listen up.
It's wrong. I didn't record it.
Thank you.
Hello, I am on board the Perry County Emergency Management Director. I replaced the Emergency Services Coordinator and we restructured the program back in July. Biggest changes that we made to the program is I'm no longer working in the Sheriff's Office. I'm a standalone department so that I can work with the whole community, all the different populations, and kind of bridge that gap now that we no longer have public health here in the county. We still don't have a public health rep on ground, so I've been kind of liaison between public health and the community for now. So, let's see here, what is emergency management? So technically, my job is to plan for all the emergencies and disasters and bring everyone together to actually exercise those plans and make sure they're all sound. Problem in Perry County is we don't actually have a plan right now for anything, so I'm developing everything from scratch. Although it's a huge task, it's also a great opportunity because that means that we get to build it right the first time, and we get to make sure everyone's involved in making sure that it's built right. So over the past year, I've been busy just getting to know the community. I'm originally from Indiana. Prior to coming here, I spent 8 years with the Army National Guard traveling the world, training disaster response teams, specifically for a nuclear attack. But I've also responded to a variety of disasters, including the hurricanes of 2017 down in the Virgin Islands, and then there were hurricanes in 2018 on the East Coast. Each time we were fighting with the West Coast for helicopters. It's amazing that we all need helicopters during the same time of the year. So we were negotiating like, hey, our helicopter does this, and you need it, but we need yours that does this, so can we trade? There's a lot of that occurs behind the scenes. It's kind of crazy once you actually see it all going down. So, a few accomplishments this past year besides actually moving my department out, running the Sheriff's Office. Primary reason we did that was to bridge the gap, but also because I'm not a first responder. I am the support arm to our first responders. So it's a lot easier to be that support arm and communicating with our board of commissioners if I'm in the same department. You're going to see a major shift in employment, or half the counties have now moved their emergency managers out of the Sheriff's Office due to that. And back in July, the State Department for Emergency Management broke out from under the Department of Military. So they're now seeing one as well. Just to kind of drive that point that we're not first responders. For example, during the wildfire, the sheriff and everyone's going to be out there dealing with the wildfire and the evacuations, and I'm dealing with everything outside of the disaster area. So when you get evacuated, it's my responsibility to make sure that you're taken care of. So we have been quite busy this past spring making some Are You Ready books. And I've got a stack over here. I do apologize, but when we publish them, I did work in the Sheriff's Office, so it still says that. I'm in the process of trying to raise about $8,000 to publish 5,000 additional books for the community because I partnered with Cruz County on this. Both counties are forgotten and the big picture of everything. We're rural and federal and state plans doing such a population. I hate that because we have a whole lot to offer as a rural community and we almost forget that. So we really drive that point in this book that if we practice individual preparedness, we're going to be much better off following a major emergency. This past weekend was a great example of some practices that we need to really think about. Generators, a lot of the community have generators. We had people go without power for up to 24 hours this weekend. But guess what the number one call to my office was for? They didn't know how to use their generators.
Oh my gosh.
So we purchased stuff, but we're not educated on how to use it, or they're not being maintained. So we were quite busy just going First step was great, everyone had generators. Second step, we've got to educate everyone on how to use the tools that they're preparing with. In the middle of this book, we have a building your disaster supply calendar. Following an emergency, people tend to go out and just hand purchase items. This calendar breaks it up over 22 weeks to slowly build your supply, so that when it comes time to replace those items, you're not financially burdened trying to replace your entire stash at the same time. And sadly, because we're on the coast, the rest of Oregon, they recommend having 2 weeks worth of supplies on hand. But we're a coastal community, so we're supposed to have 4 per person. And that's just your individual cash. As the county, I'm supposed to have an even bigger cash. So we have a lot of work to do in the county because that part of educating the public just hasn't occurred yet. But baby steps. For example, we say if you buy 2 weeks of the freeze-dried meals, you only need to go through this calendar once. But if you don't buy 2 weeks of freeze-dried meals, you need to go through it twice. Yes.
Several years ago, there was a big container near Riley Creek School where the kids would go, and we had donated, Rotary Club had donated for supplies for that. Does that still exist?
It is.
Okay.
And just recently, I believe the school went through an inventory of it
Oh, good.
because we just recently established a COAD, which is Community Organizations Active in Disaster. So the food banks, homeless coalition, the tribe, everyone's involved in this. And we did an inventory. They sent me an inventory. I gave recommendations on what to change out. For example, you do not want to give children a lot of MREs. Because MREs, if you've never had one, they have about 3,000 calories per MRE that for 1 person per day. So if you try to feed a child a full MRE plus more food, we're going to cause some medical emergencies in that itself. So, I am emergency sirens because we can use them for all types of emergencies. There are specific tones. So if you're in another county that still uses sirens, 3 minutes nonstop of the same airway tone is the tsunami siren.
So when we were taught about the tsunami sirens initially, it was that it was continued, like we have 3 or 4 for a car accident or whatever that the response is, but that if it was continuous, that meant
Yep.
tsunami.
So not the up and down, just 3 minutes straight at the same tone.
3 minutes
is
straight.
now in Florida statute because
Oh, okay,
everybody
good.
is doing it differently. So the sirens I've been looking into are used in Hawaii and Washington. Not only do they give the tone, but we can also play a message so that people know that we're testing, or if it's a tsunami, seek higher ground, or wildfire evacuations in progress. But they also have flashing lights on the top. So we can get a red one for all other emergencies and a blue one for tsunami. So that we're hitting all populations.
Are there, because we're so spread out, is there an option for people in communities, say like in Cedar Valley or Crystal River, for private individuals to have one if they have a large group of, or are these going to be on public lands? Where do you plan to put them?
Still to be determined, because once we identify where they go, sirens, the noise only goes so far.
Right.
So we have to strategically place them to cover as much area as possible. So once we identify the areas that need them, we will have to hire somebody to come in, most likely the siren company, because they know their sirens. And they will tell us where we need to place them. So if it has one private property, that's where we have to start doing the agreements and all that. I'm willing to put in the work. It's going to take probably a decade to implement all these sirens because you don't want to buy them all at the same time. Because then you're doing the same maintenance all at the same time, and you'll pay for the county and the cities. So, just like with community caches at the schools, you buy it slowly over time so that when it comes to replacing it and maintenance, you're not financially burdening whoever's responsible for it.
Yeah.
So sirens are a big topic. I actually receive phone calls all the time from angry residents over our lack of sirens. It's on my radar. We will get there eventually. First, I gotta start with the emergency operations plan because that is what builds the groundwork for the entire program. When we were getting there, it just took a lot of time to figure out where we had to start and how the county functions. Originally, our emergency operations plan was published by an agency out of Portland. great for Portland, but it does not work for rural communities. That's the beauty of emergency management is I know what we have to have, then I can come in and mold those items to our community. Like when you come into our emergency operations center, we are one of the most unique in the nation now because I moved it to Curry County and how understaffed we are. And we actually have more volunteers than staff members now in the center during the emergency.
Where's your office?
Oh,
I was just gonna ask that question.
But no, everyone gets lost when they go to my office. I'm in the basement of the courthouse. The best place ever to put an emergency operations center. It was such a great thing, just like putting all of my supplies in the airport.
Well, I think search and rescue having everything in a hangar at the airport too is just nuts, so.
Yep, I came in and they told me where my supplies and I was like, don't want to be that person, but what kind of genius planning was this? and like a week later, my stuff was moved to Fort Orford. I was like, it's on the tsunami inundation zone now, but now it's on the other side of the county. We will figure it out. Actually, I'm going to propose to the county and work with the cities that, for example, Gold Beach and Fort Orford, planning for Cascadia, you guys are my problem communities because of how far the inundation zone goes. So I am asking you guys to have 2 to 4 weeks worth of supplies on hand. But if you live in the inundation zone, what's the point? So I am going to try to convince the cities and the county to build small storage units to where it is literally just a small closet to rent out really, really cheap, $5 to $10 a month to the residents so that you guys have a place to put your supplies. And hopefully that will encourage people to actually start stockpiling supplies because that's the response I've gotten is why would I do that if it's all going to be gone anyway? I cannot carry loads of food.
They'll be full of ammo.
Huh? Yeah, so there will be restrictions on what can go in there, and we're gonna make them small enough where people cannot live in them, things like that. But I mean, I don't know how people put generators in there. What's the problem with the generator called Cascadia?
Fuel, there's no fuel.
Gas. Yep. So if you have a generator that runs off propane, different story. But we can't have residents competing with first responders for the half day of fuel that we will have on hand following the earthquake and tsunami. So, speaking of fuel, water treatment is a huge issue because everything's going to be contaminated. I'm really excited that I have found a company to partner with that is going to build water treatment units per community. Are you guys aware of like the islanding concept that we'll have heard due to all the bridges and landslides? So we'll have like 45 to 60 pockets of people trapped in the county. So we're going to take that map, we're going to look at if we're going to use groundwater or surface water, and they're going to make these water treatment units per each little island, and they're not going to rely on any type of possibly propane for some of our communities that are consist mostly of senior citizens, because the other devices will be hand crank or foot crank. So they're looking into alternative water treatment options for us, and we're the only county in Oregon that they are working on.
So will my well be contaminated? If I have a well in my home?
You would have to be more worried about like where it comes up to the surface, the contamination occurring there.
What doesn't come out?
She's 400 feet above sea level.
Oh, well, then you're good then, yeah.
Unless your pipes are all broken, which they probably will.
They could be, that's what I'm wondering, if, yeah, the well, the casing breaks, then I'm,
Well, you don't treat your water at all, so, and that spring is actually higher than your house, right?
So what about
So you
life
could be
straws
gravity fed and not
as
be a problem.
education? I mean.
Life straws?
And,
Eventually.
Yeah.
Life straws do not filter out salt water. Anywhere that the tsunami water touches, we're gonna have saltwater intrusion. And
but we have so much water here and
that's
all
where
year
I'm
round.
really pushing this summer at the preparedness expos. We're gonna have people there educating. Like, do not go to water and use your life straws in the first however many days following the tsunami, because you have to wait for all that saltwater intrusion to be washed back out, or you're going to actually be dehydrating yourself and making yourself sick by drinking the salt water. Because I was looking into the life straw gravity filters and like, we don't clean out salt water. I was just like, okay then, bye.
But any water that's flowing
Yep.
down from the mountains, I mean, I
So-
guess maybe people wouldn't think of that.
Most of our cleaning is occurring for those small communities that all their water is going to be contaminated.
Yeah.
Those that are not going to be contaminated, they're more hardy and
Ability to
Yeah.
get in
Yeah.
places to get it, because they're injured.
Yes.
Are there options for homeowners to get either tax benefits or grants to help with fire prevention on their property and or emergency preparedness?
That's perfect. Under Senate Bill 762, the grants, they have not told us exactly how they're going to roll them out yet, but they are working on the grants to help homeowners build defensible space and protect their homes against wildfire. When it comes to other types of hazards, we kind of have to wait for those funding opportunities to come around. FEMA is amazing. The feds are amazing. They wait for the disaster to happen, and then they say, oh, we probably need money to prevent the damage in the future. So we kind of have to wait sometimes.
Is that federal or state?
It'll be state funding, yes. And it'll actually come out on most likely my Facebook page, the fire department, and then CFPA. We'll start pushing the information as soon as that grant information is released. Because they've been asking like how many residents are probably in the end. And I'm like, well, you made us all extreme. So yes, we're going to be grants down here. And then there's also some volunteer groups that I'm working with that if enough of a certain community needs assistance with clearing defensible space, if we can guarantee them so many days of work, they'll fly teams in to assist with that. So that's a last ditch effort kind of thing. Use the state funding, and then anyone who still needs help beyond that, we can try to get volunteer teams in to help. So we've got a lot that we have to tackle. Luckily, when it comes to wildfire, the fire defense board meets every month, and we go over all of this. We're going to say fire marshals, they send people to the meetings so we're aware of what's coming down the pipeline to us. And we're the ones who gave the incredibly negative feedback on their risk maps that came out, and the public writing back, and then they agreed with all of them. Rumor is there's not going to be a lot of changes when they come out again, but the public has a great voice. The state will listen. We just have to have enough people actually respond and voice their opinions to the state to respond to it. Which I really did with those risk maps. I'm proud of everyone. They did not yell at me. They yelled at someone else. Yes.
I'm new to the community, but are there any routes for leaving the tsunami area to get to higher ground?
Yes. And I did not bring any with me, but they're on this application that you can download the app, but also outside my office and in a lot of the city and county buildings, we have the tsunami inundation zone maps, and they actually show you the routes to get to your assembly points. Those will be changing in the next couple of years, because I pointed out that some communities, we told them to go towards the way, and then they go down the block, and then they get to go away from the way, when they can just go up the hill of it in the neighborhood. So we're gonna do a reassessment of all our assembly areas and make these routes a little more feasible for us. Because I would rather have 20 locations where people are assembling versus 3 major ones, if that means people don't have to travel as far to get out of the inundation zone. But let's see here. What street do you want? 10th Street? So on 10th Street, you would just simply go east all the way until the road dead ends, because that lane is outside the inundation zone. Yep.
We just go right up the hill.
Yep. Go right up the hill.
Is there a map somewhere of the anticipated subsidence or emergence zones? How much they expect the coast to go up or down?
They do not have those maps. A lot of new assessments are coming out. As the equipment advances, we get better readings. And also NASA for the past, let's say like 30 years, they've been actually just monitoring the coastline. So not only do they like look at the ground movement or landslide zones that we were not aware of, but they've been watching our subduction zone.
It's curious, when I built my house, we uncovered lots of buried trees. So I'm about just under 200 feet above sea level, which gets me out of the zone. But seeing all those buried trees did not make me real happy either. So it seems like it's been coming up where I am, but.
Could have been a landslide. Most of central Curry County is a landslide zone. So those landslides are going to vary a lot. I mean.
Yeah, the trees were not quite petrified, but there was this black carbon. It was very good.
All right, I'm making me a little more nervous now.
And talk to your insurance company, because we just found out this week that there is landslide insurance, there is earthquake insurance. I mean, they break this down so much. You have to have the very specific, or just light everything on fire, you know? But
Well, I know all the people that their insurance was voided because they had cracks in their foundation of all things.
or moss on their sidewalk even
Yeah.
these days. Realtors know that.
Yes. And kind of my job here is to get as much documentation as possible to help the public follow an emergency. For example, this past weekend, you guys are amazing. You all put roofs on way too quickly. I could not take pictures of them. I have to have events to declare a local emergency so that insurance companies can fight us. I think the only roof that is still missing is on the ODOT building in North County.
Wow. Though, go up Second Street, there's still a tree on someone's roof there. Second, yeah.
Well, that's why I posted on Facebook. I'm like, I need photos, people.
Yeah.
Like, and we can always retroactively declare a local emergency and just say, hey, damage assessments came in late and it was bad. But I mean, everyone just cleaned up so fast. I'm like, well, I feel like I'm back home because I grew up in an Amish community and, you know, everyone just comes in and fixed it all real fast. Now it's Gold Beach.
If a homeowner has a problem getting something covered by their insurance, do you recommend them reaching out to you to help with that? Or
If it's something that, like, getting coverage or getting a claim. A claim,
From the
they can,
fund.
yeah, they can reach out and we can try to get documentation. Worst case scenario, we'll like go to the state because a lot of people didn't understand how bad it was here in Curry County. And then, you know, I was like, well, we didn't have electricity to call you to let you know how bad it was. So, calls and effect people. So yeah, they can reach out to my office, and just pictures. Actually, everyone should have pictures of everything in their house and take a little video of your house. Because then if you have to rapidly evacuate due to a fire, you at least have a video to support your insurance claim. Because how many of you were aware of how close we came to losing our official worker this fall/summer? The day that we had 3 fires throughout the county, they stopped the fire at the last possible point before it went over the hill, and there were structures right there. So those residents hadn't even been put on notice that they were at risk of losing their homes that day. And
We had, because all the neighbors were calling the neighbors.
oh yeah, but the county had never formally notified anyone, and at the same time, we had 2 other fires. So one fire was right next to my house, so I'm like running to my house, so dogs in the car, the cat in the crate, the bird in the car, and I'm making videos, I'm running to my house. So, you know what you need. Don't run to your house last minute. Make a video and put it on a cloud, put it on a flash drive and send it to someone outside the area. That we each have a backup. Because insurance companies can be a little finicky, and we can blame everyone who's taken advantage of the system in the past. So, we're all punished because other kids were naughty. That's how insurance and government is working right now. So, yes, there are grants, there are programs out there, and you guys follow me on Facebook. That's where most of my information gets pushed out. I apologize if anyone reaches out to me and takes me a while to get back to you, but being a department of one, I am spread pretty thin right now. For example, great news for North County. I've been working with Forward for over a month now to write 2 grant applications totaling $70 million to replace 30 upgrade their water infrastructure and upgrade their reservoir. So we no longer have those extreme water losses up in York County. And if we are successful in getting the grants, they will have $2 million, 2 million gallons of water in reservoirs following a major earthquake. So at least North County will have water. And then we'll move to Central County. In South County, we've got water issues all over the county. I've learned so much about water. Who would have thought that becoming an emergency manager meant that I would become a public works professional as well? I know way too much about water treatment now. But yes,
Again, with Main Street, talk about utilities.
yes.
I was telling you, I would have to have a conversation with you about resiliency and our underground utility.
I've already been approached. If you look in our natural hazard mitigation plan, I do not say that we will underground our utilities. We said that we would like to build a resilient power infrastructure because I did not want this to step into this whole beach. But it's in there.
Okay.
So
Another conversation.
there can be email funding for hazard mitigation, but at the same time, it's more likely to boost for electric that I'll have to get to the grant, which I'm working with them as well.
Cool.
So I've got books, I've got brochures over here, and I've got more cards if you guys would like any. And just follow me on Facebook, that's the best way to get a hold of me through Facebook or email. And it could take some to get back to you. I apologize now, but hopefully, I did phone interviews today with 4 candidates for the emergency manager position. And we've got some amazing talent interested in coming here. I was pretty shocked. One holds a master's degree, so that's rather rare for to find someone with a master's in emergency management willing to come here.
Okay.
So yeah, Curry County is attracting a lot of talent. You just gotta, get them here.
Yeah.
Look at,